Good morning, children. Welcome to your English video lecture. So, as you all know, children, in our previous video, we have started your new topic from English language, and the name of the topic was subject verb agreement. Correct? Now, today we are going to continue with the second part of the video, where in the previous part, what we discussed, let us, get a quick glance of that. What we previously discussed was that what are subject, what are verbs in a sentence, right, and how subject verb basically works. What is meaning of the word subject verb agreement, where we discuss that in English grammar or in any sentence, we if we want the sentence to be grammatically correct, right, if we want that our sentence should be grammatically correct, so the verb must agree with the subject in number as well as in person, right. This is what we discussed in the previous part, and also we discussed that this particular rule, where we have to see that the subject and the verb must agree with each other, and there we also discussed that if we are using singular subject, then the verb should be singular verb. Okay, and if we are doing if we are using plural subject in a sentence, the verb should be plural verb, right. But this condition is true for only third person. Okay, when we are talking about the third person, this particular condition works for the third person. And after discussing all that part, we started rules, right. What are the rules for second and first person? Okay, so now here I will be discussing first and second rule in a very brief manner, because we have clearly discussed this, but these two particular rules in the previous video very clearly, where I have explained you properly what it means. Okay, so here I am just going to remind you what first and second rules are basically. Okay, but after that we will discuss third, fourth, fifth and sixth rules. Okay, so here let's start with the first rule. So first rule just says that if two singular subjects are connected by and, okay, if we are using two singular subject and both the subjects are connected by and, then the subject that we are going to use then the verb that we are going to use should be plural verb, right. This is what we discussed in the previous video. Okay, if we are using two singular subject, then the verb will be in plural form. But there is an exceptional case for the rule number 1, and the exceptional case is that if we are using two subject, singular subject, okay, two noun, and both the nouns, either it is representing one idea to the mind, or it is talking about the same person or thing, then the verb that we are going to use should be in singular form. Okay, and the example for that also you can see here, it is mentioned here that bread and butter. So here you can see bread is a singular subject, as well as butter is also a singular subject, and both the subjects are joined by and. So according to rule number 1, the verb that we should be using, it should be in plural form. So here instead of is, we should have written, we should use the plural verb, that is are, but we are not using it, because in the exceptional case we also just discussed that if those two singular verbs are connected with and both the verbs are both the subjects are giving us the same idea about the same person or same thing, then the verb should be used, that we are going to use, should be in singular form. Okay, clear? So here with this example, I hope this particular rule is again clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the rule number 2, which says that if we are using two or more singular subject joined by or, either or nor, requires singular verb. So in the previous first part, we discussed that if we are using two singular subject, then the verb should be in plural form. Similarly, this is a little bit different from that if we are using singular subject 1 and singular subject 2, and both the subject are joined by or nor, then the verb that we are going to use should be in plural, it should be in singular form. Okay, as you can see here, examples are given. Neither food nor water was found there. So you can see that food is a singular subject 1. Similarly, water is the singular subject 2, and it is joined by nor. So we have used a singular verb here. Okay, and the singular verb is was. Okay, This is what the second rule says. Now children, this point was for singular subject, both the subject that we have used in the sentence, if that is singular. But what about if the subject that we are using, one is singular subject and the other one is plural subjects? So in that case, what we should be doing is that for that case, if the subject that we are using in singular form first and then the plural, then the other subject is plural, and both are joined with nor and or, then we are going to use plural verb. Okay, the verb that is closer to it. The subject that is closer, we are going to use that subject. So here you can see that here example is given. Neither the chairman is the singular subject, right, and it is joined by nor. The directors is in plural form, like this subject is plural subject, so we have used plural verb are here, not is. Correct? So you can see that if the subject is in singular form, okay, one is singular, second one is plural, and both are joined with nor or and not, then we are going to use plural verb. Okay, this is the second, you can say second rule. Now let's move on to the third rule. What the third rule says. So according to third rule, subject joined by or nor. Okay, if we are using two subject and both are joined by or nor, are of different person. Different person means one is first person, other one is second, or second, third, or maybe first and third. Then what happens? The verb, it must agree with the nearer. Okay, verb must agree with their nearer subject. So here you can see, let's say we are taking a subject 1 which is in second person. Okay, and then the subject 2 that is in the third person, and both the subjects are joined with or not. So for this you can refer to this particular example. First example, neither you. Here you is the second person, correct? Or he here is the third person verb, third person subject, right? So you or he both are joined with or. Okay, so here we can see that both the subjects are of different person, right? One is second and the other one is third. So what we are going to use, we are going to use the verb according to the nearer, verb will be used according to the nearer. So here you can see that the third person is nearer to the verb, so we are going to use the verb according to the first one, the nearer one, which is he. So here now we are using the verb agrees with the third person here, right? Verb is agreeing with the third person, and the third person here is he. Okay, so verb is agreeing with the third person here, which is. Okay, so this particular example. Now if to get more a proper understanding of this, you can see the next example, either you or I am mistaken. So here in this example you can see you is the second person and I is the first person here, right? So and both are joined with or, which our third rule says. So what we are going to do, we are going to use the verb according to the verb must agree. We are not going to use the verb, but verb must agree with the first person here, because first person is nearer to the that subject. First person is nearer. So I, with I we always use am. So now am is being used here, then the sentence is complete. Either you or I am mistaken, right? So this is what third rule says, that if the subject are joined by or nor, okay, and both the subject are not of the same person, then the verb agrees with the nearer one. Okay. Now moving forward children, rule number 4. Rule number 4 is the simplest rule. It says that if we are using either, neither, each, every, many in a sentence, then the verb that we are going to use should be in singular form. Okay, the verb should be in singular form. As you can see here, two examples are given. Everyone of the boys loves. Okay, every one of the boys loves to ride the car. So because here we have used everyone, then the rules number 4 says we should be using singular verb, so we have used singular verb here. Similarly, if you see the second example, many a man has done so. So here, because we have used the word many, with many we are going to use the singular verb, that is has here. Okay, with these examples I have already underlined the verbs, so you can clearly see that the verbs are in singular form because we have used these one of these words, right? This is the simple rule number 4. Now moving forward to rule number 5. Rule number 5 basically says if we are using noun, okay, which are plural in form, okay, the noun that we are using, it is in plural form but singular in meaning, okay, the noun that we are using as subject in the sentence, it is in plural form but the meaning of that plural noun still is single, then the verb that we are going to use must be in singular form. Okay, see example here. Mathematics is the branch of study in every school. Here you can see mathematics, right? Mathematics is the word here which we have used. Mathematics means what? Mathematics means maths. We can say mathematics also. So here you can see mathematics, we have written s here, it is in the plural form. This noun is in the plural form but meaning of mathematics is singular. Meaning of mathematics is singular, right? So we have used singular verb with it, that is. Okay, so this is what the rule number 5 says, that if we are using noun which are plural in number, okay, noun that is plural in number or in form, but the meaning of that particular noun is singular, so the verb that we are going to use takes the, so the meaning, if the meaning is in the singular form, then the verb that we are going to take should be also in singular form. Okay, you can also see example number 2 which says the news. So here you can say news is true, it is in plural form but the meaning is singular, so we have used singular verb with the plural word or plural form. Okay, so now children, let's move on. Rule number 5 is, I think this is clear to all of you. Now let's move on to rule number 6. What rule number 6 says is just opposite of what rule number 5 says. So as we saw in the previous part of the rule, that rule number 5 says that if the noun is in the plural form and the meaning is singular, then the verb that we are going to use should be in singular form. Similarly, this particular rule says that if the noun that we are using is in singular form, okay, so the and also the meaning of that singular form of the noun is plural, then the verb that we are going to use must be plural. To understand this, you can refer to these two examples. Example number 1. 1 dozen cost apples. Apple cost 1,000 rupees, which basically means that 1 dozen apple cost of 1 dozen apple is 1,000 rupees. So here we can see that dozen, even though this word is singular, right, we are using it is in singular form, but the meaning of dozen is plural, so we have used the plural verb here. Okay, understood? Similarly, if you see the next example, the couples are going out this week. The couple are going out this week. So here, because we have used the singular form of the verb, but the meaning of the word couple is plural, so we have used the verb here plural. Okay, because this particular subject, plural subject, this subject is singular, subject is in the singular form, but the meaning of this subject is plural, so we have used the plural verb here. Okay, so these are the rules, children, and I hope that you have watched the video clearly and understood the rule clearly. So now what I want you all to do is that try to solve the exercise that is in your book. Okay, go through the video, try to understand the rules, and try to implement these rules by solving those exercises that are in your book. Then then if you are solving the exercises correctly, then you will understand that yes, you have totally understood the rule properly, and you now know that where according to which verb or according to which subject you should put the verb. Okay, so try to solve the exercises that is in your book. Only 3 exercises are there. Okay, so you can solve that exercise by yourself if you have watched the video clearly, and you have understood the video. Then the exercises are not that much tough. So try to solve the exercise and try to try to get understanding of the whole chapter. Okay, children. So here now, children, with this particular part of the video, the whole topic of your English language, this particular topic of English language is complete. Okay, so in the next video, we will be starting a new chapter or new topic. Okay, but with this, I want all of you to solve the exercises in your fair notebook. Okay, children. Thank you and have a nice day.